Welcome, everybody. Anthony here with the Bulbaritos, bringing you a brand new live stream. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are in episode 6 of the Bulbattalion series, where we are partnered with Hova himself and Lambo to bring y'all some amazing Rise of Kingdoms content. I hope y'all are as excited as I am. Today, we are going to be diving into top 32. We don't know the brackets, all that kind of stuff, but we got some points, conversation points, all that kind of stuff that we are going to talk about and really deep dive into the teams, what we think, opinions on questions, stuff like that. If you have questions, make sure you ask them in the chat, and I will try to do my best to keep track. Y'all always want to get me a little sus potato on these streams, so I will do my best, fam. But yeah, I truly do appreciate it. Each and every one of y'all for coming and hanging out with us. But for those of you who are new to the stream, ladies and gentlemen, I am Anthony with the Bulbaritos. My wife and I are variety streamers streaming mobile games such as Rise of Kingdoms, all the way to first-person shooters such as Call of Duty, and everything in between. So fam, if you love variety content and definitely love you some Rise of Kingdoms content, do me a massive favor, and it got hidden. Do me a massive favor and sub to the channel. If you don't want to miss a live stream, make sure you select that. You hit that bell icon and select all so that you get notified every single time we go live. And do me a massive favor. Y'all have been crushing it. So if you love Rise of Kingdoms content and you want me to do more, y'all already know the deed, fam. Smash that like button. It always lets us know that y'all want to see more. And that is how we determine which content to focus on. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to fire up some music. We're going to get in the chat, get a little sizzle, sprinkle, you know what I'm saying? We got our drinkies here with us. Ooh, it's going to be a good one, fam. I hope y'all are as excited as I am. All right, give me 1 second. Let me fire up some music. Let's get some of that Latin fire. There we go. Ooh. Oh, just so y'all know, we officially, before I switch over, hot second, we are officially in our charity fundraising, we are officially number 39 in the entire leaderboard. We are officially number 39. 37, number 37 is 2K on the dot, and we are $122 away. So we are number 39 overall on the leaderboard. For the week, we are officially number 14 in the entire leaderboard for the week, the weekly amount that we have raised thus far. So thank y'all again for crushing it. Truly does mean the world to me and my family and my wife, because we're raising it for a good cause. So thank you again, fam, for everything. All right, let me see. We got the music rolling. Okay. Let me turn this. Let's hop in here. Boys and girls, y'all ready for it? Oh man, somebody got their generator going? What's going on? How's it going, fam?
Hey.
We got Lambo, we got Mr. Hova. We're gonna flip screens here in a hot second. Let's do this. Oh, why is it hiding Hova? Give me a second.
It's okay, they can hide me.
Give me 1 second, fam. Oh, there we go. Is this why? Yep, there we go. Let me do one thing. I need to make a quick adjustment real quick, and then we should be good. Oh, I got the mic right in the middle of my face.
There are the blue eyes that melt the ladies' hearts.
A little killer over here. I'm telling you.
I got the blue shirt with me.
And Redline's heart, too.
Oh,
Yeah, where's Redline?
Dude, where is Redline?
Gems, Bulb.
You what?
says more than gems.
Oh man.
More Than Gems, Lucifer and Scrolls, Volume 10.
Dude, okay, well that's okay then, because I would already buy that, so that will be my first day, I think, or most of my first day.
Monthly limited bundle.
There you go.
It's a good day in rock.
There you go.
Yeah,
All right,
what a
we got the
time.
Hova forehead. We got it. We're in it. We're in it, baby. I'm gonna crack open this hot bottle. Let me see. Let me bring up our talking points real quick while we're doing all this, fam.
Did you already tell them that this is not a drinking stream, that you're too much of a lightweight to drink?
No. So here you go. You ready? You know how I always mess up on the UTC stuff? I messed up on the UTC stuff. So my shit was actually yesterday at 10 o'clock. I thought it was going to be today, which is the reason I said I wasn't going to be able to, because I thought I was going to have to be sober for it. So we are, I got it right here. Look, I got it. Look, got it. There you go, Lambo. Bringing out the Crown Royal Peach. You know how we do, baby. So we took care of our stuff that we needed to take care of. We are good to go. Blast off time. Let me get in our Bulbattalion. All right. I told my boy Lambo that I would show it one more time because I don't need people thinking I'm salty. Okay. I love my boy Lambo and Hova. So I'm gonna flip screens, that way y'all can see the graphic that we're looking at, but I wanted to highlight, so y'all remember we did our top 32 just as a refresher. Okay, let me start with, hold on, let me switch these real quick, that way y'all can see. Okay, wait, wrong one. Let me see if I need to adjust your picture on this one. Yeah, I do. All right, give me 1 second. So y'all can see the image right now. I'm gonna adjust Hova's picture real quick. And so y'all can start seeing what we were talking about. Y'all can kind of already tell I took the fat L in this one, so before everyone's I think that the thing that I like though is we made it entertaining. It's not, a lot of us could have taken the easy road, which is what some people would do, and just say that all top 32 would win and then just take whatever couple of L's they're going to take. But I like the underdogs. The underdogs were what make Osiris League fun. So I like believing in it. And I can tell you right now, the fattest L I took was, sorry to shout out to my boys and girls in 375. But I literally took the fattest L with them because I literally took all their teams. And so when they all got eliminated, I was like, well, they're in my bracket. So, but yeah, I took 4 L's on that one. No, it was bad. But all right, so y'all, oh wait, hold on. Sorry, it's blocking. There you go, fam. Those are the teams that we chose. That way everybody can kind of see what we're looking at. If you missed the show, I believe this was episode 1 that we did this, I believe. So go check it out if you would like to. We went through one by one, talked about who we knew, what we didn't know, so on and so forth, chose our winners, and this is what we came up with. And then after top 32, of course, my boy Lambo hitting me up in Discord, like, bro, hey, have you tabulated up already? Like, he already knew. Hitting us up in Discord.
Because he was losing on the weekly.
That's right. I was getting shreked on the weekly picks, and Bulba was calling me out on the weekly picks, so I wanted to make sure that this is up there for the division picks.
You showed us, that's for sure.
Yeah, we took an L on that one. And yes, I would say about 25% of these teams, I didn't freaking know, so I just went with my gut.
Trying to find things I can open this crap up. So yeah, so here's the graphic that I shared on our Discord, fam. It's the winners, losers, what our record was overall for the top 32. As you can see, I took the fattest L out of everybody at 19 of 32. I put down below that what our wrong picks were. That way, if people wanted to go back and look or whatever it was, I also did it for us. That way, you know, there's certain divisions we're going to talk about, and I'll bring those up later that we completely missed altogether as a group. So I brought those up that way we could go check the winners and see if it's someone we knew and just didn't guess, or somebody that may potentially be a surprise, so on and so forth. So that's why I added the complete misses. And as you can see, Lambo took first with 24 of 32. And then Hova coming in second, 21 of 32. And it was very close. The ones that Hova lost on some of these were the ones that lost by like he chose T79 that barely lost a squat. Like it was, some of the ones that Hova lost were heartbreakers. So this easily could have gone flip-flop if Hova would have won a couple of those that were lost by like 3K. Because I want to say at least 3 that he lost on were the ones that were like by 3K. So that I will say. But Lambo proved us all wrong. So GG's to Lambo. Now we're going to see.
Thank you to UCS and SX54.
Yeah, I will say GG to Lambo and you fair and square. Won this top 32 result. I'll give you that. But not the war. You won this battle.
Ooh, I like it.
Not the war.
Oh, dude, are we gonna have an internal competition for the for our madness tournament? Dude,
I'll put my archers up against your archers any day of the week.
Oh, you don't
oh,
want that.
shots
You
fired.
don't want that.
You don't want that smoke. My con's booty is still, his ass is still raw from the spanking that I took. I was like, Hova, we need to test some stuff, and people are like looking, and I'm like, I don't know why. Of all the people, I chose freaking Hova, and he brings it. He goes, "What do you want to send? T5 full marches? Do that?" And I'm like, dude, I don't even have enough T5 for this. I'm like, he's like, all right, well, let's send full marches, and I immediately knew, right when he said let's send full marches, that I was gonna get those assless chap kind of slaps. And needless to say, I got slapped pretty good, and it was funny, but it was good. But we went full out, so we had full gear, you know, we had everything on it, full march, everything. But yeah, he clapped me pretty good.
I will say there's two people in 307 that beat me. One was and this is just 1v1 fights. One was a player from SN who had a Saladin Takeda. Mm-hmm. He beat me. And that was out of KVK. And one was Bowser in KVK with a Ram YSG on Ram YSG. Those are my only 2 1v1 losses.
Ooh. We may have to set up competitions now. Just
Salad and Takeda, I still roll around it in my bed at night. It keeps me up.
Your side chick in the chat, 1401 going down this KV. I haven't heard anything from 1401's KVK. I just know that they're bored AF right now. Let me see. I think somebody asked us a question. We'll address some of the questions real quick before we dive into ours. It was all right. So Amix asks, who would win the Osiris League in your opinion, and why? If it, he's pulling one of those on me. When I asked for Raiders of the Ark, when I used to ask, what is your favorite Pokemon and why is it Bulbasaur? So they're having it there. So who would win the Osiris League in your opinion, and why is it OV? I like it. Okay, we'll start with that. In a perfect world, forget brackets, forget whatever. If you're just looking at the number 1 team, and I get we want to look at brackets and that changes a lot of stuff. I'm just talking just overall as a number 1 team. If you were to pick one team, who would y'all pick? And we'll start with Lambo.
It's really hard to pick just one team. I mean, there are so many good teams.
Okay, here. I'll make it a little bit easier because that is a little bit hard. I'll give me your top 3 teams in the game right now.
I think K374 has a lot to prove. I think K374, OV, and 1V really impressed me by just laying the smackdown on LB. You know, no offense to LB, you guys are a great team, and I'm sure you'll do well once the equipment gets up there and you can compete at that stage. But you know, those three teams, I mean, I would throw a couple dark horses in there at 114K. Not that they're a dark horse or anything to be sneezed at, right? But they beat the Korean, from what I understand, they beat the Korean League champs to advance out into the top 32. And then UCS did lay the smackdown on oh God, Snow. You know, so it looks obvious to me that UCS has greatly improved from previous seasons as well, which they were very good in. But it looks like they've taken a step to the next level.
Okay. Hova, who do you got, brother?
Before I start, some people are in the chat saying that my voice is a little too low, or my mic is low. So you may need to turn it up and then ask them.
All right, go for it. I raised you up 50. I raised you up from 100 to 150%. So if anything, they should say you're too loud in a second.
How's this chat? Can you hear me now? I'll talk and then let me know if it needs to be louder or quieter. But my top three, I'd say definitely 1B is in there. It's also hard for me because TR and JST are now down to 2.6 billion, probably respectively around that like power. So I think those two teams are also very, very strong. Those would probably be I would probably do TR, 1B, and OV. And then my honorable mentions, if I can't choose AVG, obviously I think AVG is going to go far. I'm on the team. I know the plans and all that fun stuff. But I think I would go JST. And is this all the realms? You said all the realms, right?
No. Just horse. We can do other realms by all means. If we have a couple, I don't know if everybody knows the other realms, so we'll wrap back around for the other ones. So right now you said 1V TR. You what?
Yeah, 1V TR and OV would be my top three, with honorable mentions for JST and AVG.
Okay. So fam, I can tell you this. This is just my opinion. I know that everyone's high on 1V, and I think they did a really good job. Okay. I haven't seen a ton of their matches. Okay. So that I got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt on that one. But the teams that I look at right now, and we'll dive into this question in a hot second. So you'll hear one of my teams that you just do not like. I legitimately would not want to see one of the teams that I'm going to say. So OV for sure is one of them. Okay. I think you're a two-time champion out of three. You're automatically, and unless the team completely fell apart and it's a brand new team, then it would make sense. But for the most part, their team is pretty much intact. So I would say OV definitely has to be in there. I'm a little bit torn between SFS and JST. Both are very, very well organized. I think that match right there would be an insane match if that one ended up happening between SFS and JST. And then my last one is actually going to be 114S. Okay. I know a lot of people are high on 114K, but the last couple of matches that I've seen from 114K make me a little antsy. If you're looking at it. I know that 1021, like Lambo said, was the Korean Osiris League champion from last season, and I totally understand that. But at the same point, they're not dominating as badly as I think they would. Like I'm telling you, we're hearing from people, Lambo's talking with people, other things that, OV is putting in substitutes and 10 minutes into the match. You know, like that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, where you're dominating so bad that you're literally, your subs are scoring more points than the normal players, you know. And that's the kind of stuff that it's like, that's domination. That's straight foot on the throat type. And 114S shows me more of that than 114K, which is why I'm going to take 114S over 114K. From what I've been seeing, I think that's it. And then it would be, if I had to choose one between JST and who did I say it was? JST and
114S.
oh yeah, no, it was JST versus SFS.
Okay, 374.
Yeah, 374. Honestly, guys, I know everyone thinks I'm high on the Koreans, and I might be, but I told y'all they're gonna be a dark horse. They're gonna be scary, a very scary pool if you get them in their group. I'm gonna go with JST on this one. So we're going with OV, JST, and 114S are gonna be my top three right now, what I would say. So thank you for the question. I appreciate it. We're gonna dive into a couple of our questions, and while we're answering those, I'll look at the questions in the chat, and then we can kind of drizzle them in as we see them. But
yeah, I mean, obviously the thing about OV is they've won 2 out of 3 seasons now, and if you face OV, you're going to be bringing, I mean, it's your Super Bowl, right? So you're going to be bringing your best players, your A game. You're going to make sure the week before you're practicing every single day, doing your commander testing, you know, whatever it is. A lot of these teams do, you know, but for a lot of these teams, if you face OV, that's your Super Bowl, you know, so they're going to be bringing it out of the gate, you know, so it's definitely going to be hard for OV to repeat as champs.
Yep.
I agree. And I did bring up a point later on, you know, the more you repeat, the deeper you get, the more tape there is on you. So the idea of surprises and stuff like that, people are legitimately looking for tendencies and watching film and do it. Like, people take it real intense, fam. So the more coverage, that's why some teams don't like when they get covered, because the element of surprise is no longer there. You know, there's so much tape because OV gets so deep in the tournament every single time that coming up with brand new strats, you really have to hold those really close to your chest, which they tend to do, and they tend not to reveal them unless it's like a dire match or they get into top 16, because that's when the juicy stuff starts happening. So Lambo, do you know any of the teams in other realms? Just asking. I don't know if you do.
No, I close my fingers and point at the screen to pick one.
All right, Hova, I know you wanted to drip into, did you want to quickly choose a couple from the other realms? I don't know which realms you know.
No, I was just wondering, that was an overall question. Okay. I mean, I don't know enough teams in those realms to make an actual statement. That's
the way I am too.
So I would need to have more education behind. I just know a couple teams, so.
I did want to ask Hova though. One AVG seemed to fly through their bracket with relatively ease. Do you think you guys had an easy pairings?
I think we had an easier bracket compared to other brackets. I mean, we just ran through each one of our teams. What I do want to say is right before League, we played 114S. And that was the best match that we could have played because they kicked our ass. The game was 9, we lost by 9K, that it might as well would have been 20. It was that bad. And we learned so much from that. So we took and that was a pretty hard loss to take, you know, losing something like that and then signing up for Osiris League the week after. But now that I look back on it, it's just, that was a great match for us. And I really think that AVG can keep going.
Now, for those of y'all who, I know Hova didn't dive too deep into it, but I will let you know. So some of the things that happened were some old stuff that reoccurred. So y'all know when I talk about 1AVG, I love my boys and girls from 1AVG, but y'all know the same thing that I tell every single time with 1AVG. It's always usually about the mid. But in combination, and this is probably the biggest surprise because I didn't expect it. When I saw the VOD back for it, and I saw that they lost their obelisk, I was blown away. They had people poured up from 114S. Their strats for obelisk captures were actually really, really good, which is probably one of the biggest learning things that I think they probably most likely took away, is strategizing for stuff like that. Because if you can, you know, not reinvent the wheel, but if you can reconfigure it for your own personal team and add a little couple of tweaks to it or whatever you want to do, that's where you're starting to cook with some grease, you know what I mean? So I will say that I was very, very impressed with 114S. And then I know 1AVG, y'all know me, say what you want, but what I like to see from teams, I don't want to see a team that jumps into top 2 and then the next season falls out in top 100. I want to see a team that progresses from top 32 to top 16 to top 8 to top 4 to top. I would rather see that over a course of time, because it lets me know that the team is consistently getting better. It's not a fluke. And with 1AVG, they're consistently placing higher and higher and higher and higher each season. And that, I will say, because a lot of people say it to me all the time, is impressive because of the amount of people that play. There's a couple of people on the team that literally, and I'll name one of them because my boy out here, he always tells me, I try to get him on this show, Mad Phantom. He goes, bro, I don't know shit about art. They just threaten me and tell me I need to play, and I show up. And I'm like, well, you play better than half the people that know how to play, so it don't matter. But it's one of
just send them to the middle and tell them to kill everything.
Exactly.
Remember when we were streaming our match and Bowser's infantry march was just chilling in the mid during that really important game?
I was like, I zoomed in. I was like, what the? And now we're zooming in on Bowser, and I zoom all the way in, and the arc carrier is getting nuked in the middle. Yeah. Everybody's coming. Hova has 5 archers like swarming the shit out of something. And then you see Bowser just sitting there. The arc carrier literally dies right next to him. And then he finally moves, and I'm like, oh no. And dude, we made it into like a little clip. It was so funny. But
funny.
All right, let's get into it, fam. Okay, I did have the first topic that we're going to talk about were the top, or the 3 complete misses, those divisions. So I'm going to bring them up real quick. It was division 4, 13, and 31. That way we can see what teams won those divisions, and then see if it's a surprise to us or we just thought somebody else was going to win. Let me see. Osiris, go.
Well, I mean, we'll start with Division 4. I think we all picked MTO there.
Yeah, we did.
And that KVK had a serious impact on them, I think. Not only from a troop standpoint, but from a morale standpoint as well.
I kind of agree. I don't know how well they would have done against LN93, because they mopped. You know, they mopped up pretty good, but I know MTO were looking good, and then that KVK got hit real hard, and then I mean,
C9N went hard on them. So like what Lambo said, and what you're saying, Bob, like, it's not only they were exhausted. You know, like I don't think they were fully ready for their matches. All 30 of them, I mean, leadership might have been ready to go out there and show up, but it takes 30 members to win league matches these days.
Oh God, we got Speedy in here saying, watching the draft, bear down. Where's Gambit at? Gambit's a Bears fan too. Gambit's a Bears fan too. Fan of the Cubbies.
I'm gonna have to seriously reconsider being a member of the Saturday with the Boys if Speedy's a Bears fan.
Yes. Oh, dim Bears. Hey, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I can't talk that much shit. But I will say that I hope we're playing Green Bay this year, because if they don't got Aaron Rodgers, one of my wife's friends goes.
All right. Let me just address this right now. Aaron Rodgers is acting like a spoiled brat. He's acting like a diva, right? You know, that said, if he wants to go so bad, let him leave. I lived through the 70s. I lived through the 80s. A successful Green Bay Packers season is when we beat the Bears twice. I don't give a fuck if we go 2-14. If we can beat the Bears twice, it's a good season. All right.
Arroz, look, there you go. The wifey, Arroz Rogers. Yes, yes. And then, her coworker goes, she wore her jersey. She goes, the Cowboys quarterback, Dak Preston. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? Like, Dak Preston? It was somebody who was trying to talk about football and then just had no fucking clue. And you could tell. I was like, oh, no. I was like, nah, let's chalk that one and walk away. But, all right. So, Division 4, Hova, did you address this part with MTO or whatever? Was this kind of who you thought would win? Well, clearly we all thought MTO would win, but KVK Impact, do you think it was that, or they just lost because they were better, or what?
No, I think it was KVK Impact, mentally and troop wise.
Okay. All right, Division 13, TMD were your top 32, and SK 57 ended up winning that division, knocking out 411K, and then knocking out 92 SW. TMD, I believe, are in KVK as well, correct?
Yeah, that and they went absolutely balls to the wall.
Okay. Which KVK were they in?
They're in the one with 254 and 365.
Okay. They were on bottom side, correct? If I remember correctly? Yeah. Okay.
And they basically zeroed themselves with 1234.
Okay.
Both of them didn't show up for their matches.
We're going to talk about the whole KVK situation in a little bit, so we'll dive back into that. This was one of those groups that the only team that I realistically knew was 411K. So this one isn't a surprise to me as much. I did know of TMD, but I didn't know how good they were in ARC itself. I knew they were good. They had some good fighters and stuff like that, but clearly when you're getting dominated 8K to 67K and you made it in this far, it something had to have fallen. You know, either they didn't show up or they didn't have troops to field or whatever it was, case in point. But what about you, Lambo?
Yeah, we're on Division 13. Sorry, I was chatting with Speedy about football.
Oh, no. Yeah. Division 13.
Yeah, I mean, clearly KVK is having an impact on some of these teams, and I just think, Lilith needs to do something about it. Like we were talking about in previous weeks, maybe giving everyone in league that 1.5, 2 million troops. I don't know. I'd like to see some better matches here, but again, when you have 512 teams competing for the top 32, you're gonna get a handful of teams that are getting shreked in KVK or just signing up for the participation trophies.
Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of people were misunderstanding too. I think when they did the recent patch notes where it was like, if you make between 0 to 2,200 points and stuff like that, I think it should have been the other way around. I think that cap needs to get raised. I think 10K in Osiris League is super low. Like anything like that pertaining to anything score-wise should be elevated. Most of these teams are scoring 80,000. Like the lowest player is scoring like so much that it's like, even people that are coming in for 2 minutes are making enough points to get, and it's kind of like, at that point, you're kind of making it a little nerfed. And I'm not a super big fan of that. That, and then the teams that just show up for 5 minutes just to get their thing. And it's kind of like, I think I agree. I like that we're addressing those topics, because I will tell you that I've been reached out to a couple of times already by people in the community higher up. Not little direct employees, stuff like that. But people that are close enough to it, I guess I would say. I don't want to drop names and stuff like that. But that they are checking out the content. They're asking for our opinions, stuff like that, on changes, suggestions, stuff like that. So what I end up doing is just sending them to our episodes and then saying, here, we literally vocalize 25 different ideas that you can use, or at least throw in a brain trust and see if they're good ideas, so on and so forth. But it's getting a little eyeballs on it, so that I can be happy about. All right, so moving on, Division 31 is our last one that we did a complete miss on. This was BG being your top 32 team. And they took out LIIT to win the division for 31. So I think I'll start on this one. This was one of those, I had no clue who BG was at the very beginning. Okay. The second I saw the Korean Osiris League draft and I saw them there, I immediately knew I probably would have gone with them if I would have known they were Korean Kingdom based on the division that I saw. I always knew that LIT would make it to the finals because I believe I actually chose LIT. I think a couple of us did. I don't remember off the top of my head. Actually, I have it right in front of me. Let me see. 31. What do we have? Lambo had EVA. I had EVA. Oh, we just randomly. We all went EVA. What in the whip? Oh, man. They got smoked. So, that's one of those things, like, hindsight being 2020, if I would have known, a lot of these Korean Kingdom, or a lot of these Korean alliances are making splashes, fam. And that's why I'm excited that we're going to talk about one of the other topics. But they are phenomenal. They're very organized, and it's actually insane to watch how organized they are, and strats and counter strats, and just it's insane.
And does having a separate Korean league benefit these Korean teams playing high level? Because I think they only draft 32 teams, right?
Correct.
Does a separate Korean league benefit these Korean teams having another quote unquote high level of competition to play at on a weekly basis, however often their league is?
I mean, these Korean alliances, though, like, they're not only doing this in league. You know, they're doing this in KB. In my opinion, these top league and top KB, like these top Korean teams, are blowing us out of the water coordination-wise in KBT too. And they're not.
Absolutely. You know,
they don't have more KBK than us. However, I do think what you're saying is, like, the more practice, like the more actual matches they have, obviously the better off they'll be. So that might give them an edge, but I don't want to, like, inherently give them that thought of, like, okay, they have more matches, therefore, you know, they're better. I think they actually put in a lot of work coordinating with each other, and it helps that everyone's on the same time schedule. To be honest.
Yep.
It's like, oh,
there's no comm difference. There's no communication issues. There's no, because that's what a lot of people don't understand that, and I don't think we ever publicized it. But in 1399, the way that we split up the teams from the previous, where BBTH went very, very far, and then the next season there were different teams, and the reason for that was because people were saying that there was a communication, I don't want to say it's not a problem, but there was a separation between the comms between the English speakers and the Chinese speakers. So they moved the Chinese speakers all into MCO and then kept BBTH as an English speaking alliance, which it had never been just English speaking. So I will say that you know, having same language, same time zone, all that kind of stuff, always, you know, it's always going to be to a benefit, especially for...
And that's hard, right? You know, you got 15 people that speak primarily Chinese. You got 15 people that speak English. You know, it's hard. That communication is hard. But at the same time, you get 30 people on the same comms channel. You know, not all 30 people are going to be speaking at the same time. The rally leaders should be talking. The garrison captains should be talking. And a select few people should be directing troops and strategy on the field. You know, so I get that. You know, I think the biggest advantage teams like BG, teams like 1V have, is that they're all in the same time zone. They can set up those practice matches in the same time zone and have people show up. The hardest thing that we did in OV last season was to try and get our 30 ARC players into a practice match versus another 30 players from, you know, another quality team, you know, because of that time difference. So I think that's a huge advantage here, and we're seeing that play out in league season this year.
I agree.
Okay, next point. This is where we start getting into the nitty gritty. Fam, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna preface this with a disclaimer. This is not a jab at any team. Don't get booty hurt. Don't get your cheeks all in a bunch. you know, your panties on a bunch. Well, cheeks too. Y'all know what I'm talking about, all right? We do this purely for entertainment. It has nothing against any of these teams, okay? So don't take it like that. I just do it because I am not the kind of person who wants to be on the fence, okay? I've never been like that. I promise. I've gone into a bunch of streams where people have asked, hey, who's going to win this match? And we'll have creators out there, and I'm not going to name names, that will say, well, this team, X team, they've done really, really well. You know, they're going to do really well this season, blah, blah, blah. I think they'll win. But on the other hand, this team, you know, they're doing just as well, and they're playing harder competition. And then they'll like insta switch, like it's almost like a conversation killer. And then they'll just like go back to the game and never answer the question. Like it's almost like just floating, like riding the line. And that it drives me fucking nuts. I would be typing the same damn question again just to get an answer out of it. But they'll do that. And I can't do that. I love all y'all, but I'm a betting man. Like, somebody gotta lose, fam. It's the way of the world. We're not participation winner, you know, ribbon holders out here. Somebody gotta hold that fat L. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Here we go. And here is where it begins. Who were the biggest disappointments for this season thus far for you? Let's do top 3 biggest disappointments for you. If y'all want me to start, I'll start. If not, we can start with somebody else. However y'all want to do it.
I really just went through the roster before this show, and the 2 that kind of stick out in my mind, and we just covered one, right? EVA. You know, all 3 of us picked EVA to win. You know, they pretty much dominated their group stage. You know, winning by 30,000, another 20, another 30,000, and then one match the other team didn't even show up. But then, you know, they kind of laid an egg against BG. So I would have to say EVA was one of my disappointments. And then God bless 401, but I think TN was another disappointment there. I expected more from them.
All right. Hova, who you got, brother?
This is hard.
You want me to go first?
I would have to say my first one would be WOS, WOS. I love my boys in 256. I know that they were struggling, and they're not struggling, but they were fighting hard in KVK. So, and right during league, so that has something to do with it as well. And they lost a real close one. And they weren't even top 32. I had real high hopes for them, and I thought that they were going to come through and shock the world and beat SNC1. So I was a little sad when they fell a little bit short, but I'm being disappointed, I guess, isn't the right words. And then I would probably go with BLN. I mean, SX54 is a very, very hard team. Right before our league started, AVG played SX, and it was a very close game. But I had really, really high hopes for BLN, and they have some really, really good people over there. So I was excited for them to push pretty far. And then I think the last one I'd have to say, I mean, I want to say TN as well, but I know how hard it is to place 3 teams in the top 32, and 401 got 2 in, so they should be proud as well. But it was a little sad to see them fall too.
So I'm gonna break some hearts here, fam. I'm gonna break some hearts here, and I know, and it sucks because I got a lot of people that a lot of supporters, a lot of Burrito Gang. But I told y'all I can't float the fence. As a whole, 375. As a whole, if you were to tell me that 0 teams from 375 are going to make it in the top 32, I would have bet you a pie to the face that there was no shot that not one of them would make it in, and it happened. You know, so overall, I would say that just because of how good I know those teams are, and how good the players are. I know they're in KVK, and I understand. I don't know how big of a role that played, and I haven't asked and stuff like that. I'm just saying in general, as a whole, if you would tell me that those teams, none of those teams would make it, I would have bet you. I would have dropped money on it. I would have bet pies. I would have bet anything that at least one of those teams would have made it in. Okay. The next one, and this was a heartbreaker, an absolute heartbreaker. And it wasn't because I was disappointed. It was because more I felt bad because they ended up, it literally was like deja vu all over again from last season. And they're a home team from 1307, and it was CB. Oh my God. We casted that match and they were doing so good. And that last arc was a heart, because literally we had called it in the cast. We're like, oh yeah, they should have done this and this. And literally almost exactly the way we casted it, they lost. And that to me is heartbreaking, because that is exactly the way they lost the previous season, was with the final art cap in the last 2 to 3 minutes. And that broke my heart. So it wasn't that I was disappointed. I felt really, really bad because they literally played their asses off and they still fell short. Okay. The last one for me, and I'm going to say this because they actually made it into top 32, but I'm still very disappointed with what I saw the showing wise. And we kind of brought it up. 114K let me down. They were hot last season and they barely lost to a very good team that made it into top 4. But if I'm them, I'm very afraid of landing into a decent to good pool, because the way they're looking, that might have been the best you're going to see them as last match. So that I was a little disappointed on, because I would have expected them. I think I actually said that I thought they were a top 4 team before this even started. So I'm a little disappointed on that. Okay. So those are the 3 that I would say from my side. Just because
that might fuel them and propel them, though. I mean, just
that's
like
good.
Hova said.
Hey, that's good.
Like Hova said, one AVG lost before coming into a Cyrus League, and that made them a better team. Last year, Ovi lost to SFS, now K374, in these top 32 group stages, and they didn't lose again after that, because that made them a better team. So sometimes that's what it takes. It takes that kick in the ass to get refocused and get your shit in order.
All right. Okay, so that answered that one. Now we're going to do the complete opposite. Let's choose. If you can't choose one, then let's choose 2. I don't want to get too big into it. Who are your biggest surprises thus far this season? We'll start with Hova. Let's start with Hova this time.
My biggest surprises. Man. I mean, I don't want to say that this is a hard one. I don't want to say that Pito was a surprise, but the way they went through their division was very impressive. I know that they're a great team, but I was very surprised with how they kind of tore up their division and the way they're walking into top 32. So I think that they're a very scary team to have in your pool if you're drawn with them.
And they narrowly lost last season too. So that was, they literally lost it by the margin, because they were tied and they lost it by the margin of victory, because the previous week a team didn't show up. And so the margin was 90,000 points. And then they ended up winning by like, I think 30 and losing it by the margin. So that was pretty insane. So you had PTOL. So you're just choosing one, or are you going to do 2?
I will go, yeah, I'll go P-Toll.
Okay. All right. I'll go, and then we'll end off with Lambo. I'm actually going to choose 2. So my biggest surprises thus far. Okay. I've been high on them, but I'm one of the newer ones. Okay. And you're going to consistently, this is going to sound like a broken record, but it's for a reason. before my original cast with JST, I had no clue who they were, fam. And I have literally become a fan of JST because of the way they fight and how organized they are. Whether it's in KVK, Osiris League, it doesn't matter. They're very, very organized with markers, with communication, with comms. You know, it doesn't matter where they are. They always try to be better and they push for more. Like anytime I've asked Chuni, hey, Chuni, you want to get on the show? He goes, oh, we're really, really focused on, like, he is afraid of leaking anything. And he does not want to talk about Osiris League until after Osiris League. His focus, he literally told me, he goes, we are only focused on winning Osiris League. That is it. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. We won't talk about, because he knows that we're going to talk about Osiris League. Like, it's just, and I totally understand, but they are that focused on not just KVK, but also in Osiris League, Korean Osiris League. Like, they got a lot of hands in pots going on right now. Okay. The other surprise that I would say, if I'm going to choose one, I don't want to say 114S because a lot of people aren't surprised. Their division wasn't uber hard. SFS wasn't uber hard. I'm gonna say, and it's not a super surprise because they consistently make top 16, but UCS is dominate. Like they literally dominated people, like bodied them, and I'm talking like Khabib type domination for MMA fighter type deal. Like they bodied Snow. Like it wasn't like, oh, it was a good match. They came out and they knocked them out. And it wasn't even like this. We're talking about two teams that were in top, you know, higher than top 8 last season, and they just straight bodied them. So that's one of those scary teams that if they're on, they're on. And if they look like that against a lot of other teams, they're going to go real far. So I will say, I thought UCS would still make top 16, but if they play the way they play like that, they're going to be a very hard out for any team. Okay. And Lambo?
Yeah, and you know, as far as UCS goes, I think the middle. If you can dominate the middle, like UCS, like we saw Smash Squad do on a couple of arcs, like OV consistently does. Like I'm sure I haven't seen their matches, but I'm sure JWM does. With you know 10 to 15 to 20 to in some cases 30 VIP 17 players with maxed out gear and optimized gear. And the right buffs at the right times, you're gonna win more matches than you lose. You know, so UCS isn't a complete surprise to me. Mm-hmm. You know, I think they'll make it far, especially if their middle game holds up like it did against Snow. You know, I think what's surprising me, and it's not just one kingdom, it's multiple kingdoms. You know, BG, 1V, you know, those Korean teams that. You know, I know Hoven knows them well, but they were relatively unknown to me going into this league season. You know, them making the top 32 and doing it in a convincing fashion, the BGs and the 1Vs. You know, I think it's something to look at moving forward. JST included.
That actually surprises me now that I think about it that Hova didn't say 1V, because I don't think 1V was on a lot of people's radars.
That didn't surprise me, though. That's the thing about this, Like, JST doing what they're doing doesn't surprise me. You know, like, last KVK was absolutely ridiculous. Fighting JST and fighting that kingdom. And watching, it's so funny watching them go into this KVK and everyone seeing their organization there and, like, put it on a bigger... Because majority of our fights were under fog, so you couldn't see it as much. But having it on this huge platform where everyone's watching 7 days of fighting between 254 and 365, as well as 164 and 173 and 179. But just putting it on this platform just shows the communication skills that at least JST has. And when I go over and talk to JST, because I have a lot of friends there, I'm actually in their alliance now as a little plebe. Hopefully next KVK I'll be able to contribute more. But when they told me Watch out for 1B. They know what they're doing. Watch out for blah, blah, blah. They know what they're doing. So then I started watching their stuff, and it's honestly impressive. And I think I don't want to say English community, but the international community has a lot to learn from them.
Excuse me. I agree. I tell a lot of people, and a lot of people don't understand this when I tell them, and they think I'm joking. Korean, just, and it's not to separate. I'm not saying this in terms of in a bad way, fam. I'm just telling y'all this because as you player base, Korean alliances tend to be very, or Korean kingdoms in general tend to be very organized, very aggressive, and they're willing to do that sacrifice play if it calls upon them to do it. So when somebody asked me a question, hey, Korean kingdoms, is it true? And somebody asked in, it was in Drago's stream. Somebody asked, hey, Drago, when you're fighting the Korean kingdoms, is it true that the 20 mil players will fight? And without a doubt, the philosophy is if you own an account, you are sending out your best marches. They do not care if they get nuked. It is bodies getting thrown at you consistently over and over and over. It's like a wave crashing on a wall. At some point, you're gonna see a crack, and then it's gonna happen. And then it's, and it's just constant pressure. It doesn't matter whether they're sending Pelagius, whether they're sending Boudica. It does not matter. It is one of those things. It's just something to see, because when people use the excuse, I don't have the power, I don't have the commanders, I don't have this, all I tell them is go watch a Korean kingdom fight in KVK and then come back to me. Because I can tell you, I didn't even fight against 365. I fought against 486, and I got bodied by 20 Boudica. It's just one of those, like, the pressure, even having good marches, you're still getting bodied consistently over and over. They're just going to wear you down. So the only way to beat them is to be more aggressive and more, like, basically you're going to have to do what 307 had to do, where they had to dedicate themselves to, we are just going to have to put in the time, the effort, the resources, and just outlast them. And that is ultimately what ended up happening in that one. Is they ended up just out of sheer will and determination, and that's literally, people weren't going to sleep. Like, it was intense. And I remember, because I talked with Matt and a bunch of others. But yeah, they bring that same kind of philosophy into Osiris League. And that is what I love to see. They're thinking of strategies, game plans, they're doing the deed. And that is what, when you want to watch them, I started learning more about that. So I will say that about that, and we'll end off on that. What?
Didn't Junie quit his job for KVK? I mean, my wife would castrate me.
Yeah, quit his job to go rabbit hunting.
That's just insane to me.
Yeah, that KV was absolutely wild. I will say it was absolutely wild. And huge shout out to 375. There's no way that KVK would have been able to be won without 375.
I agree. Even though I know a lot of people, and I don't want the chat to flood with other things, it's not taking anything away from 375. Hey, you deal with the hand you get dealt. You know what I mean? If they don't come to you, guess what? You can't say they didn't fight. You can't say anything, because guess what? They showed up. If nothing came, then nothing came. I definitely said on that KVK that after they hit that wall, I really think that 254, it was a pride thing, and probably should have swung back to 375. Not saying they're easier. What I was saying is in reference to not putting all your eggs into one basket and potentially getting locked out of Kingsland. You want to have multiple options that you can then retreat to, and just opening up more options. That's it. Not that they would be able to or anything like that. It's just the idea of game planning and strategizing, not running straight into the wall over and over. And they ran into that wall hard. So
it depends though. What's your goal? Is your goal to win the KVK, win the ziggurat, or is your goal to go out there and fight your ass off and have some fun? I guess it depends. And kudos to 254. They didn't leave anything on the battlefield. You
Yeah.
know, they went hard. They went hard for what was it, like 7 days? You said, Hova.
No, I
But
mean,
yeah, yeah, 375, just crazy, insane.
I mean, they're still fighting right now, but honestly, Bulba, like, that was their only strategic move. Like, their 254 could not have gone to the other zone.
They gave up the
Like,
other zone.
They gave up. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They could not have gone to that zone because what 365 would have done was just wiped through that zone 6, taken everything free, and then gone over to the other zone 6, locked 258, and then fought and locked 234 with 346. And then both their allies would have been locked, and it would have been just 254 against 375 and 306.
See, if it was me, what I would have done, and this is the part I didn't like. I didn't like when they removed all their territory from 375, because you literally fought for it just to remove it all, and it's kind of like, then what was the whole point? Then you should have just gone to the right. Like, I get you wanting to fight and do all that, but
Definitely a pride.
you know, and that's the one thing I would say. Like, I can see where you're coming from, but I can also see where there could have been a potential pinch. And this is what I thought they were going to do. I thought that 254, when they immediately came to 375, that they were going to move into that next zone and pinch from because the bottom right were their allies, that then had a free zone essentially right there because 2 of their allies were right there, and that they were going to pinch 375 and keep them out of Kingsland. That way they had almost even numbers going into Kingsland. And that is what I thought they were going to do, was try to knock out one of the 2 big boy allies. And that is what I honestly was surprised they didn't, and then save 365 for Kingsland, period. Because at the end of the day, that's where all the big shit's going to happen is there. But I think they just wanted to fight 365 as soon as possible. And then that they had way too many people in that zone for them to take on. It wasn't just 365. There was fort blocks, and there was, meat wall, meat shields. It would have been a really hard fight just to get through that.
Yeah, I mean, well, 254 went both ways, obviously. They wanted to be in a situation where they could go both ways and work that way. And I think 375 did a tremendous move, did a very fantastic move in going there, defending, getting the trades that they wanted to get. And then when things started looking a little bit negative towards their side, just pulling back and choosing another fight. And a fight that they could win with their other camp. I mean, strategically, it's just the smart move. It's just...
I will say that a lot of people sleep on the idea of living to fight another day, because everybody just wants to see full, face plant to the wall. You get zeroed in the first zone, and strategically that never makes sense, fam. Like, there is a philosophy where you live to fight another day. There's always another zone. You have allies to go and live, and then go with numbers. And I told y'all, it is a numbers game, especially in KVK. It's all about numbers. If you're going into a zone and you're 1v4, you can only drop so many forts. You can only have so many alliance credits. You can only have so many, like, it becomes a numbers game where when it's not just who you're playing, it's what it's going to take for you to even attempt to do that. And that is, I know, what we've talked about, which is a hard thing to do, but we'll get...
Go ahead. Oh yeah, before this whole situation, I've never actually thought about alliance credits as something that's like in the actual thought of, can we do this? Like, do we have the amount of alliance credits and people prepared to drop all these forts? Do we have the alliances to drop all these forts? Before this zone, because they got absolutely, right now, I'm sure they're fighting, but they're getting boxed in at a rapid pace, and they're getting, pushed in from, 6, 7, 8 alliances now. So
let me address this question real quick, because I did see it in the comments. They put, no kingdom has ever shown will like 254. While I'm not disagreeing that 254 showed will, to say that they have shown the most, to me, is an understatement in regards to the other alliances that have done way harder fights, in my opinion, than what 254 did. And and it's nothing to take away from what 254 did, but 1401, for a lot of what people talk all this smack about their KVK and they lost and do it, guys, they were going up against all Korean alliance, like all Korean kingdoms from starting zone, literally from all, they were surrounded by nothing but Korean, you know, enemies, you know, from the first zone to the next zone to being in Kingsland. They literally went the entire time. What was it? A 2v6, 2v8, some shit like that. The entire KVK, and they made it into Kingsland. 1307 did the exact same thing. They were in the same camp against 3 other elements with 375, 1307 pushing out of both both zones to fight. Guys,
there was only 2 for us. We allied the people across from us.
Oh, so okay. Yeah, y'all went. No, because y'all went there. Yeah, it was diagonal, correct? Yes. Because I remember y'all pushed left and right. 375 went top. Y'all went to the left side. But even then, the numbers were, you know, it's one of those, like, it's nothing to take away from 254. But they got a couple of zones for free to move into a zone that was then harder prior to Kingsland. These guys were coming out the gates hot, having to put in the kind of fight that you just saw. That 7-day fight was then put in the first contested zone to the next contested zone to then Kingsland, and then it was insane, the amount of res and power, and a lot of people slept on it because they still see 1307 as the big boy. But if you would have seen the amount of recruiting that 1307 did for that last rotation, nuts. It was actually really cool to be a part of it. I wish I could have streamed it, but I didn't want to blast it and, you know, show people and do all that kind of stuff. But they were very organized with it. They did all that kind of stuff. And that to me is nothing to be frowned on. And it's not to take anything away from 1254. I just think they went up against a very powerful Korean kingdom with more allies in a zone, and they got overwhelmed. And they still fought really hard, but you're comparing that to somebody who went against between 4 and 6 Korean kingdoms, from starting for the first zone that's contested all the way through Kingsland to win. And that to me is a bigger feat than fighting in one zone. So that's just all I'll say about it. If I'm wrong, then we can always voice it and do all that kind of stuff. But that to me, if you ask 375 what's more impressive, this KVK or last KVK, I would probably say most of them are going to say 1307, that KVK with 375. So I'll leave it at that, because we still got a couple points. What's up, Lembo?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, sorry. All right. This kind of, yeah, I was going to jump down your throat. This kind of drips into what we're talking about right now. So let me just ask the question and then we can kind of address it, because it kind of dips between KVK and Osiris League. We've addressed it a couple of times before, but we never really saw the effects. So now we're going to readdress this question, because I think we actually are going to see this effects now. So the effects of KVK on Osiris League top 32. And then I put a question, who's going to be doomed because of the overlap?
I mean, I think it has clearly affected some teams, and it will make teams and kingdoms take a real hard look in future KVKs. Okay, do we skip this KVK and deal with people maybe calling us and saying, oh, we skipped the KVK because you didn't want to face us, and that type of bullshit, to be able to have an impact in Osiris League and progress to the top 32 and even further. You know, I mean, they really need to take a hard look at the timing of these KVKs versus Osiris League if they plan to compete at a high level in both.
All right. Yeah, I guess I'll go, and then we'll end with Hova. That way we're being fair and we're rotating around. I think for sure 100% it's a negative. Without a doubt in my mind, there are teams that potentially should be, if you were to tell me that they're going to miss top 16, I would have made a bet with you. I would have thrown money on it. I'll probably put coins on it. But if you're going to tell me that SX54 went from being a 3 bill plus alliance to being 2.5, and they could be potentially in a group with OV and all these crews that are at 5 bill, and you know, not going to have to worry about a healing a troop in their entire life, but you're going to ask SX54 to have to heal 20 plus mil, they probably will do it. But they are in a hard KVK, so who knows if they even have the healing speed ups to even do it, or the speed ups just to do it, period. TR got hit super hard. Bunny is, well, the last I checked, I think he was at, what, 65 mil? 67, somewhere around there? I don't remember, but he was insanely low. I'm not worried about Bunny because I know Bunny at the drop of a hat could retrain back to 200 mil if he wanted to. So it's not that, but the idea that the team got hit that hard. Another one, Smash Squad, I don't think got hit as hard, but they definitely got hit pretty hard from where their registration power to where they are now. They took a good lump from that KVK. And then you have some fresh teams that are going to benefit from it, from either having a fresh KVK or whatever. KVK is going to play a big role into who makes top 16. Because I already have messages of people like, we don't even expect to make top 16 with our troops. And, you know, it's just stuff like that. So I know for a fact that it's affecting some of the top teams. And I agree with Lambo. I think there needs to be either, and I brought in this topic up as well when they asked me, the idea of teams missing out for wanting to participate in an event. Like that to me feels wrong because they want to be active in KVK, because KVK is the biggest thing with the better rewards in Osiris League. So when you're putting apples to apples, it's never in favor. It's always going to be in favor of KVK. So I think until they make it something that is worthwhile, I think you're going to always see people favor KVK over Osiris League, which makes sense. I'm okay with that. But I don't like the fact that people are missing out on high profile events, which if you don't think Osiris League is high profile, guys, fam, that there's literally every single alliance leaderboard has top 16. You know, they're literally using it as advertising, as recruiting. So if it wasn't that big, they wouldn't be using it. So I just don't like that people are missing out on the event because they want to participate in another event.
Yeah, for me, Bob, I definitely agree with you on that line. What I would have to add, though, is I don't like there's been some open people saying, you know, during KVK that, you know, they're saving for Osiris League, even though the rest of their kingdom is fighting and like killing their troops off and dying to win KVK. I don't like that at all. I think that's a very selfish viewpoint to see things from, because KVK is a kingdom-orientated event. It's for everyone in the kingdom. So Osiris League is for 30 people, or 30 or 45 people, including the subs. Mm-hmm. And when you're thinking about a kingdom with 700, 800, 900 active people,
yep,
those 45 people are just just a very like small percentage of the people in that kingdom. So I really, really don't like that. And I saw a couple people, you know, express that in some chats. So that was kind of sad. And it's also, you know, and I guess Lilith puts these people in a position where they have to choose, you know, where they have to be like, okay, do I want to do Osiris League, or do I want to self-zero myself in KVK? You know, it has to be one or the other. So that's kind of a hard, you know, you're between a hard point or a hard place and a hard rock. And that's hard. I will always self-zero myself. You know, whether I'm in league or whatever, you know, I'm going to 59 million. And then, you know, to 56 million after that. So, you know, that's my thoughts on you know, the two events being kind of aligned. It's interesting. Lilith kind of puts a little spin on it and kind of gives kingdoms and gives teams kind of, okay, what do you want to do? You know, how do you want to treat your KVK or your Osiris League? So that's interesting.
And I know we've talked about other topics and dipped into it. So if y'all want to see all those other points, I don't want to dive into them because then it goes down the rabbit hole of suggestions on how to make it better for players and more fair and you know, so that people aren't missing out on Osiris League to zero themselves in KVK. We've gone through all those topics in previous episodes, so definitely go check them out if you haven't already, fam. Because we go in depth, like hours in depth into it. So just go check those out. All right. Here's another one. This one isn't a jab at all. This one's kind of one of those you're putting on your Osiris League hat as a team in top 32. Your team has made it into top 32. You won your division. You're waiting this week. This is the rest period. Sunday, I believe at reset brackets. It's either immediately after reset or it's usually a day after. I can't remember when the brackets officially get released. I believe it's after reset. If you're in a top 32 team right now and you're looking, I get we all want to be Macho Man Randy Savage and be super tough and say, you know, nobody scares the shit out of me and all that. What is the team, if you're playing right now, that you absolutely, or two teams, we'll do two teams. The two teams that you absolutely do not want to see in your group. Okay, I'll start this because I haven't been starting. The two teams, I've already come out and said it. 114S, I think, is one of the scariest teams, especially if you're coming from an easy division where you had zero competition, you wipe people out, to then come to one of the harder teams in the league. I think that is a scary feat right off the rip. Okay, the other one, that and their aggression and their mid game, everything is just very well. It's like a well-oiled machine. So it's them. The other one that I would say, if I had to choose somebody else, the easy one would be Ovi. Okay, it would be easy. So I'm not going to go with Ovi. Man, I think SFS would probably be the other one. SFS came out hot last season. They have not turned the burners down. They're still blazing through everybody. So those would probably be the two teams that I personally, if you're going to get stuck in a pool and you get those two teams, I would be shitting my pants. So, who you got? Well, let's go with Hova. Let's go with you, my friend.
Yeah, so let's just say we can't choose Ovi.
I think.
Okay, well, I'm out on that one.
Yeah, we can't choose Ovi because that is just a clear choice for everyone.
Oh.
If I were to go two, I would go 1B, and I would go 374. K374. Those would be the two teams besides OB that, if like, and this is exactly the situation that we're describing. If I open up my app at reset and see these two teams in my draw, I'm gonna say shit. Let's go. You know, this is gonna be exciting.
Yeah, and I was obviously going to go with the clear choice there, OV. I was gonna
I knew it.
I was gonna say K374 as well. You both picked them, but at the same time, you know, there is very little footage on 1V. You know, OV, K374. There are a ton of Osiris matches from last season, and you know, some even regular league matches that you can go and watch footage on these teams with. You know, granted, the members have changed, the dynamic has changed in the game itself. They've made changes to Osiris League, but at a core level, there's footage to watch. 1B has very little footage out there to watch and study. So going up against them would be very tough, especially since they're very strong as well. You know, I think another team I would probably shit my pants would be UCS. You know, they looked very, very strong against a quality team in Snow. And if I saw them in my bracket, I would fear for my life.
Excuse me. Sorry. Whoops. So, just so you all know, fam, Hova and I guess we could have said we're going to eliminate 1AVG and OV, because the last thing we want is people saying you're biased and you're guys. I'm not even on the 1AVG team, but I can tell you for a fact that I've watched them plenty, and I've casted plenty. I've literally only missed one cast in the last I don't even know how long. Outside of Osiris League, I've only missed one, and that was the 114S because I promised somebody else. And every single rotation, I save that time slot for 1 AVG, and they always get better and better and better. They're always improving. They're always testing stuff, testing out new teammates, they're always doing something. So don't sleep on them. I know a lot of people slept on them last season and they don't think they've gotten better. Guys, fam, we've recruited. We got a lot of good fighters, and period, end of story, whether it's Osiris League, KVK, it doesn't matter. Good fighters that have good marches, good equipment, good, and are very, very intelligent. So the team has gotten better overall as a whole. So you definitely don't want to be with them. I promise you that. You definitely do not want to be with them with Hova's 5 archer marches. I'm telling you.
I mean, any team that's in there that there's not a lot of footage on to go and study would be rather scary. Simply because teams at this level, they're all quality teams. Yeah, there are some that are in that elite level and some that are just below that on the borderline, of becoming elite. But teams without that footage, because I know, we would have players literally scheduling time on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays to go and dig up every single match that they could find on our opponents for the following week. And they would sit there and they would go through it frame by frame by frame, minute by minute by minute, and break down what that other team is doing to come up with a strategy to counter it, right? So if there are teams you're facing in here, whether it's PTOL or 235E and I'm just naming off teams here, K6B, teams that don't have a lot of footage out there, it's going to be very hard for those teams that rely on that strategy and countering what that other team does to come up with a strategy to win. I think we saw that with JWM last year. How long did they hold the arc? And that ultimately cost them the match against Snow. Snow did a hell of a job, but at the same time, if JWM had not been so set in their strategy and had been able to adapt on the fly, they probably could have dominated the middle and got a couple more arcs and made it a much closer match, possibly even a victory.
All right, I'm gonna ask this. This wasn't on the thing, but this is one of those. It's just gonna be a one-word type. Well, I guess you could explain if you want to, but you don't have to. Since we talked about KVK and Osiris League overlapping, I'm gonna have everybody choose one team. Okay, so we know that several have been affected by KVK and Osiris League overlap, but I want y'all to choose one team out of the ones I'm gonna name that you think would have made top 16, but you don't think will make top 16 because of the overlap. Okay, so we all know TR, SX54, JST. Let me see who else are in the division that went through a super hard KVK. JWM, well, that isn't because of KVK, but JWM we're gonna toss in there. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna bring up the division winners. All right. Let me see. I think OV will be okay, so we'll leave that one. I think they're just zeroing troops they don't need. It might just be, well, 1331 is in a pretty hard KVK, but I haven't kept too close of attention to that one, so I don't know how well or how bad they're doing on that one. I know they were going against 612, so we can toss them in there. There's FN from 1331. Smash Squad was another one. Let me see. 1V is they are in the no, they're not. No, they're not in that KVK. I thought they were in the 612 KVK, but they're not. Correct? I believe they're not. Squad should be good. All them. Okay, so it's basically from the super big ones that keep getting casted. SX54, TR, JST. We're gonna toss in Smash Squad, JWM, or what was the last one that I just said? Let's just go with those. We will go with those.
Don't forget C9N.
Oh, C9N. There, yeah. There you go. Okay, C9N. So out of all those teams that we just listed, what's the one team that you think would have made top 16 but won't make it now?
I mean, I was looking at C9N. They were going hard against, what was it, 375, and then against 75. I worry about them making the top 16. They are a perennial powerhouse in league. I think this season they might miss it.
All right, Hova, who you got, brother?
I want to say, oh, this is gonna hurt me to say it. I want to say JST.
I've been thinking about this question. That's the reason why I asked it. So there's two teams on here that I added that are in this list that normally I'm not going to really worry about, because if they needed to retrain, I'm pretty confident that they would have the ability to do it. And that is JST and TR. Okay. Those are the two. I think those players on those teams would be well off to at least train a little bit, to where, yes, they'll have to heal a little bit, but they'll be okay. Okay. So for me, the big elephant in the room is JWM. A lot of people don't know what in the hell is going on. Your power is about to drastically drop. You got people getting recruited out to Wazoo. They are going back. The misinformation that's flying out there right now is so insane that it makes it hard to judge if it's going to affect the team or not. I have a feeling it is, but even with all that, the team that I'm worried about the most, that I would have had in top 16, and I actually said that I saw them in top 16, is SX54. I like them a lot, but they took a massive hit. And I'm just not sure if they're going to be able to recover in a short period of time. So from me, it's SX54. That's the team that I'm going to say that I personally thought would make it through. I thought both TR and SX54 would make it. But I think the KVK is going to nuke one of the two of them.
But you picked against SX54 in the divisions.
Well, yeah, because I chose with my boys from 375. Why you gotta bring it up? Sore spots.
I think SX is definitely a top 32 team, but I don't think they're of the caliber of JST or of the caliber of TR. And the reason why I say JST instead of TR is because I know many JST Osiris League players who have self-zeroed themselves to beat TR and to beat 254 in this KVK. And I know the TR players, and I know that they're floating between 70 to 100 million. And all you need is enough to get through these matches, because they're going to get troops back, I think, after top 16, if they can make it there. And all they need is 5 expanded T5 marches of what they need to send out. When they die, they can heal, go back. If they can't do 5 expanded marches, that's where you're at a disadvantage, troop-wise. So that's why I choose JST over. And hopefully they don't see this and then ever let me back in the alliance.
Oh man!
I
set you up for success. Don't worry. I got to connect in there. My boy Trini. I'll just donate and just put Hova accept. Hova accept. Right? Nah, we'll get you back in, bro. Don't you worry.
Hova's newsflash: Hova City in 1365 is now being zero.
Is now being zero. He is now imprisoned by his own kingdom. Dude, how savage would that be? You use your prison on your own, dude. They have now all migrated. They have now ported back to home kingdom to now zero. Oh, dude, I would laugh so hard. I'm telling Euro. No. All right. So, fam, we went through a bunch. I'm gonna look real quick and see if there's any questions that y'all have, and if not, then what's up?
Does the chat have any questions for us?
Yeah. That's what I asked them in chat to drop any questions that they might have, but I think they're talking to Mrs. Bulba. Sus potato. Let me see.
They're all a bunch of noobs.
They were all a bunch of noobs.
But, you know, to address the elephant in the room, yeah, I think JWM is a huge question mark. You know, I think Baba announced 2 days ago that he's migrating to, 1412?
Yeah.
After League and KVK is over. So who knows how much heart they're going to put into it. At the same time, it could refocus them. They could be at the point where they're saying, okay, well, this KVK is lost. Let's save our troops for Osiris League. Let's now focus on Osiris League. You know, they've been in what, the top 16? I think last season was the only season they missed the top. What was it? Top 4, top 8?
Yeah.
You know, so they've consistently been up there, but did the departure of their R5, you know, impact things? Was that somebody who planned the arc?
No, I will tell you something.
Up in the air there. Somebody
did say that there was a mail that was sent out for everybody to port back. So I'm pretty sure they've already conceded this KVK. So there shouldn't be. I think Baba's out there still having fun, but for the most part, I think most people have ported back and they have conceded this KVK already.
Well, he can afford to lose 8 million of each troop type before he has to worry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously really anti-JWM. JWM kind of stands for everything I do not stand for in this game. So obviously, I won't have positive things to say about them. However, I will say, I think they went extremely downhill after Boss. He was the guy with orange hair. Was R5. I think it was, the JWM tags last summer. Stepped down from R5 and left the game. I think the Alliance went extremely downhill after that. And like what's been said, I don't know how much heart is going to be in this OL from JWM anymore. Like, they're, as much as everyone says, like, this KVK was decided as soon as it was matched. OV has just shown already that they're a proven kingdom to fight against in KVK, against our last KVK against MTO. Like, they were obviously going to trounce them. Like, I don't even know what JWM is doing right now. I mean, why even defend?
Dude, I saw some of those reports. Oh my God, my Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, Slouty's out there just testing commanders.
We were looking some of these reports. Oh my God, I was just like I get we're sharing videos and we're having fun, but it's like some of the rallies. I saw Siundok Mehmed with sieges, and I was just like, oh my God, like it you knew what was going on. We all knew what was going on, but it's funny because we always talk about it, and then you just start seeing it, and you're just like, okay, like, we know what's going on, fam. But okay, we did have a question come in. What do you think of Z415? They are doing great, maybe underrated by one.
I think Z415 is going to be a really good alliance. I think all of us had, or not all of us, Lambo decided N3X, but Bulba and I both had Z415 coming out of this group. I think they're a strong kingdom and they recruited well. They're on their off cycle, so they don't have to worry about KDK. I think they could really make an impact this league. But I do think that their experience, just like AVG's, is a little bit low. However, AVG has made, top 32 last a couple of Osiris leagues. So, like, we have experience, but like the experience in the top games.
Well, since sorry, just before, because you did say it, AVG, since Mad and everybody's been there, they've made top 32 every single season.
Yeah. So I guess I'll retract the statement, and not just like AVG, but you know, and there's differences between top 32 and top 8. Like these matches are going to get really, really hard. And I do not know the entire 30 members of Z415 or the Osiris League team of Z415, but it takes a lot of work to be ready for that.
I agree. I think when it comes to Z415, I think they're very good. The difference is going to be, and this is one of those teams, there's very few teams out there. Sorry, excuse me. I got to burp real quick. Give me a second. Too much Coke. Okay. There, yeah, it's that. No, it's the Coke that's getting me. They're one of those teams that if they land in the right situation, it makes them dangerous. If you put them in the pool of death, zero shot. Like they are good, but they are not good enough to take out an SFS and both a PTOL or take out, like, they are good. They are a very solid team, but they need to land in a very good situation where it is maybe a weaker pool, and then they will sneak it out. But if you put them in with two good teams, I just don't see with the experience. I know what Hova's saying with experience, because we do have new players on the team and stuff like that. But a lot of those players have played in Osiris League before. So it's not like they're coming in bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, like they've never seen the field ever. It's just a matter of, and I've always said this with 1AVG. I think the off-season, like similar to every other team out there, they're treating off-season as a test period. So you rarely, if ever, will ever see the actual official Osiris League team unless it's the week before registration is going to happen. The last match, they'll officially be testing probably a majority, probably like 90% of their team will be on that match. So you got to take it with a grain of salt when you start seeing those, because most top tier teams aren't playing, which then works towards, you know, communication and, you know, cohesiveness and all that kind of stuff. That's why, like with OV, I highly doubt they're not playing consistently. Maybe they are. I could be completely wrong. But they're doing practice matches with the similar squads. They're, you know, at least a high majority of it is consistently with the same people, because it comes down to little things like in sports, like where I don't have to relay a message. We play together long enough for me to know, you know, Tom Brady's throwing a touchdown, hey, or throwing a deep ball. You know his tendencies. You know what he's going to do. You know whether he's coming back, going forward, whether he's going to, like, you know all that. By just playing with each other for so long, it becomes that where the mid team is the same mid team over and over and over and over again. You already know which marchers you're sending. It just becomes repetition with a little bit of caveat, because most teams are going to add a little something to it. But yeah, I would, you know, I think they're going to do well. I just think they need to be in the right situation to make a splash. If they're in a hard division, I don't see it going very well. So I will say that.
I don't see Z415 going far. And I don't want to upset the big content creator of Z415's fanboys here. But last year, when a certain legend, quote unquote legend, was making fun of OV for doing Guan Leo rallies in Arc League, saying they should be using Attila Takeda. I mean, they were using Guan Leos before Guan Leo was a thing, right? So I just don't think that they have that outside the box thinking and do the testing that's needed to figure out what's going to work in league versus specific commander setups in garrisons. And I'll leave it at that, because I don't want to get personal.
Well, we all know what ended up happening last season. I think I won't dive too far, because I already know people's opinions on it and what happened and why they had to adjust the rules. And there's a whole plethora of it. But at the end of the day, fam, on some of these things, I'm not excusing all of the things. If it isn't in the rules, guess what? It isn't in the rules, fam. You know what I mean? If it's not a rule that says, hey, you cannot do this, you know, Some people are going to do it. You know, you're strategically, it's just like in KVK when you got to decide between live to fight another day or face plant into a wall. And
Okay. So maybe I will go there. When I see when I see the quote unquote commander testing that certain content creators are doing, where
I'll say it, legend running.
It's during MGE kill event, and they're having their fanboys send marches at them, random ass fucking marches. You know, maybe like a Alex and a Ethelfled. And they've got on a full legendary equipment set. They're fighting on their own territory, and yet they're having their fanboys send marches at them. So, in my opinion, they can get kill event points, and they're calling it commander testing. And then you ask them about it. Well, shouldn't you guys be removing all your gear? Shouldn't you be fighting off territory so you don't have your alliance buffs?
Yeah.
And I'm told point blank, oh, well, you don't remove your gear during war. No, but the whole purpose of fucking testing is to figure out which pairings are working against which pairings on an even battlefield. So, you know, just getting fed kill event points by his fanboys. That's, you know, I take issue to that.
Thank you so much for the $10 donation to the charity, my friend. Appreciate it, my bud. But yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. I think that's where it comes into where if you're going to throw rocks at a house, you better be ready for people to throw shit back at you. You know what I mean? And that is where, as content creators, you got to be very, very careful. And it's not me in any particular content creator. It's just in general. We all know that you're going to get, it becomes a poop slinging contest. That's at a certain point. There's people that will talk shit about me all the time. And I don't care. You just let it roll off. You know, somebody uses a certain commander in KVK, and I'm not going to name drop people, fam. Most of y'all who watch content already know. Use a certain commander in a KVK and people think are trash. And then guess what? Then you start seeing everybody using it out there. And it was Trajan. And we're not going to name drop. I don't want to see it in chat. I don't want to see the shit talk, or we're just going to mute everybody. You'll see me talk about Osiris League. You'll see Drago. You'll see whoever. We're going to talk about content. It's content. But at a certain point, you also know, like I know right now, some of the stuff that I chose for losing teams and stuff like that, it'll probably get clipped in, you know, it's going to happen. It's content. It's the way of the world. It's just going to happen like that. But I'm an honest believer in if you're going to say something, you got to back it up. That's why I know a lot of people say, like, I say what I say about Smash Squad, and everybody in Smash Squad should already know, well, maybe not Negan, but everybody else in Smash Squad knows that I just say, you know, I'm saying what, and I'll thank him in a minute. I say what I say because that's just the way I feel. I see it and I relay the message, and I'm excited when somebody came to me and they said Smash Squad has clearly turned a different leaf in mid game, that they have a noticeable difference in their mid game and how aggressive they are. I was happy. Okay. And it wasn't any jab against it. It was just, I've literally been calling for that for 2 seasons. Just flip that switch. You know, at some point you just got to commit and just balls to the walls. And you see it in KVK sometimes. You'll see it in Osiris League. We're going to call it the way it is. If you don't like it, then, you know, kiss my grits, you know, kind of deal. But you got to understand that it's not personal. It's not personal, fam. So I'll let Hova, you got anything to say, brother? I don't want to put you on the spot. If you don't want to say anything, you can.
No, I mean, I think you're totally right. I think Smash Squad definitely, in my opinion now, I don't want to say sets the standard, but it's definitely in the upper tier mid games. They do very, very well in the mid. And they should be proud about that.
So, all right, we had Bazzy Baz. He asks, I'm a little confused by the question, but maybe my reading comprehension just sucks ass. So let me see. Why does it seem what happens when KVK is going for the high-powered, good Osiris League teams? I don't think that's necessarily. Oh, go ahead, Hova. You're good.
Lilith hates us.
We're all dodging so that we can focus on Osiris League, okay?
Yeah.
I don't think it's planned because they don't have exact timings, especially with skips and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it's set that way. The one thing I will say that is very suspect, is it is now becoming a habit that every single Osiris League, there is a brand new commander that is coming out either the week before top 32 is decided or at the start of top 32. And that is something that is now a trend. It is no longer a, well, it kind of literally the last 3 seasons, there has been a brand new commander that get introed in the week before top 32 or the week into top 32. And while a lot of people don't see that as a problem, if you're a younger kingdom, which doesn't necessarily affect Horus because of the way it's split as bad, and the way that they kind of shuffled the MGEs and stuff like that, it addresses it pretty good. But at the same point, you're going to have teams that just cannot afford to. Hold on, Rose. Let me see if it reads it out. Oh, it's not going to read it out. You're going to have teams that may not be able to have 17 of the new Cav Garrison Commander to test out. And I promise you, there are teams already testing it out. So there might be new meta, there might be new rallies, there might be brand new we could legitimately see, I don't want to say a complete meta overhaul, but we may start seeing non-Attila Takeda rallies coming in Osiris League, which I do suspect is going to happen based on what I'm seeing in KVK. I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I think Attila Takeda is now officially done in Osiris League, and you've heard it here. I'm officially saying, I think, based on what I'm seeing report-wise, equipment, all that kind of, I think Attila Takeda is officially nuked in Osiris League. I think the new Cav Rallier with Chandra, with Will, like I've heard good things about him with a bunch of combos. You're going to start seeing a lot of that kind of stuff in Osiris League, and I'm very interested to see how that's going to turn. Oh, and just real quick before I forget, Horseplay dropped $100. Oh shit. It's not a pie, but we have officially crossed over the $2,000 mark. The milestone has officially been hit. We are now at $2,007 or $2,007.99, fam. Now I owe y'all a 24-hour stream. Oh man, we're gonna be dying here, but we've officially crossed over that milestone. Dude, y'all have crushed it in less than a week. Sunday will officially be a week. We've already raised $2,000 for St. Jude, so I am beyond excited. Let me read real quick Horseplays. I don't want to stop the stream, but I want to make sure I give love to it because it helps. He did leave a message.
Chiz just asked a good question. Chiz goes on the stream.
Oh, go for it. Go for it, Chiz. What did Chiz ask?
In your opinion, will Jadwiga shift the Ark of Osiris Garrison meta?
I can tell you for a fact that I know teams like OV. I know teams, teams that really dedicate to practice matches are already testing it out. But I will say this, a lot of those teams will not show any of that in top 32. OV, just like last season, everyone always referenced SFS and they beat OV and they did that. Guys, in that match, OV didn't use a single Zenobia. SFS used Zenobia and they still barely beat OV. Okay. And then when they got into the championship, all you saw was Zenobia they unleashed specific game plans that were dedicated to countering what SFS did really well. And you saw that in mid and in Garrison and rotations. And I think you're going to see a very similar aspect of it. Now, the interesting thing to think about is if OV end up in a very hard pool, are they going to pull it out sooner than later? And that is the thing that's going to be interesting because they typically are ahead of the meta because of testing and we all know how Wick is. Wick's out there running, you know, doing circles of radius circles and has diagrams of shit that's happening and has chart. We all know how Wick is, and we love him for it. But that's how intense they are with their testing. So do I think it's going to happen? I think it is. And I don't know if it's going to happen as early as top 32, but I think in top 16, you're going to start seeing some teams that are going to be game planning for that. And it's going to come out where I think the Attila Takeda meta is over. So I think that already is a massive shift already, especially with gear and stuff like that. I think that's already a massive shift. But I think you're going to start subtly seeing it get dripped into top 32, and you're going to see some teams get surprised by it. So I think if anything, the first week is the week to watch, because I think you're going to have those teams that people don't think are going to win. They're going to try to come out with surprise strats for either the Obelisk, Garrison, or just different stuff. I also think it's going to change the meta for kickoffs, because a lot of people were sending fast cav and doing all. I think now that you have a legitimate cav garrison, I think you're going to now start seeing just cav garrisons going. And then even if you're coming to rally that obelisk, I think it's going to get nuked. So that's going to be where I think it's going to adapt and change, similar to how Zenobia, where people just leave a couple marches and reinforce and then leave. I think you're going to see that with obelisks, with other plays, with fast cav, and then having that as let's swarm the enemy obelisk. And you're going to see some creative stuff, I think is what's going to introduce, because now cav have a garrison. So that is what I will say. Hova, we'll drip on this because these guys know more about commanders than I do. But I know Osiris League, typically with meta, it's going to change, especially it always changes with new commanders.
Yeah, for me, Jadwiga definitely is going to be in Osiris League. I mean, her third skill, just I'm looking at it right now, and it is skill damage taken is reduced by 10%. Or it's her fourth skill that I wanted to focus on. So troops led by this commander gained 10% increased skill damage, and then when they take skill damage, they gain 10 rage or up to 50 rage per second for 3 seconds, which is going to be essentially 150 rage every 8 seconds that she's going to get, because in Osiris League, all you do is swarm buildings. So in my opinion, what is going to happen is we're going to rally these structures, we're going to take them with cav, and then we're going to switch to a Jadwiga YSS, Jadwiga Theodora, Jadwiga, whatever you want and whatever your testing shows. And I really think she's going to be something special. And like what Bulb says, all these teams are going to start testing her and seeing what's best with her. Just to stall, because I really don't think she's going to be like an altar defender.
Yeah.
But I do think she's going to be someone to stall and start trying to get points ticking for you.
I mean, the nice thing about her is she's cavalry. You know, you can put her in a structure as the garrison captain, and Cow is not generally used other than running the arc in arc. So you can get other cavalry marches to her buildings very quickly, you know, much quicker than infantry, much quicker than archers, you know, so it will be a good stall tactic, like Hova was saying, before you can get your, you know, I think Xeno ISS is still going to be the predominant garrison pair in arc, but I think Jadwiga will definitely have a high role to play.
I agree. I think she's going to be much more effective in the breakoffs than I think she's going to be like mid game to late game. I still think if you're going to have Zenobia, I think Zenobia is still the meta right now, but I can see how this is going to put like you could potentially see some monkey wrenches coming in if you have an Attila rally going to the obelisk, you have her as a garrison, and she can tank for a little bit. Like I can see little things, like we've seen people lose obelisks off the rip. We saw some unique strats where 15 CCs went to the enemy obelisk to block teleport spots while the rally was swarming, and they got in there. If you have her as garrison,
like the John Wicks, who have teams in league still, will be releasing content showing testing against her as a garrison commander.
They usually
That's
don't.
that's what I'm interested to see.
They usually don't. And it's nothing. It's nothing against consecrators. Y'all know I love it.
I get it.
You know
I totally get it.
You know I love y'all, but there's a reason why with me, I have no problem trying to help people out because I'm not the expert at commanders. Okay. But for me to for people to say I'm using this tree because he's using it, I think a lot of people are now starting to ask for the live tree because some people don't believe that they're sharing the right trees or the ones that they're using in their Discord. So now you're getting a lot of people on live streams, hey, show me your tree, because it's literally like they're not gonna spend time switching just to. So that is what I've always firmly believed. I think when it comes to advantages like that, I would see Wick doing a breakdown after the Osiris League. The same way with the archers when it came to the Invitational, when they got released and y'all tested, and guys, I don't think they were showing, and I'm pretty confident they weren't showing the legitimate, like the ones where they were really, really pushing it because the opponent would take advantage of it, stuff like that. You're trying to keep a little leg up, and I feel like there's people that are going to do it.
He was showing the new archers in the open field. I don't think we shared any garrisoning or rallying with those archers. But
oh god, Juan's already out. Will he kick Belisarius' ass? Oh god.
Just for those of you that are wondering how these bigger alliances do testing. One, you can do practice matches in Arc. If you don't want to spend the gems for that, you can garrison a level 1 pass and rally a level 1 pass, and you're not going to take dead troops. Yeah, you're going to have a hospital bill, but if you just put 100,000, 200,000 troops in there to garrison, and then use 100 or 200,000 troops to attack that level 1 pass, your hospital bill is going to be minimal. So that's how a lot of teams do this type of testing, to see what they can use, what the perfect talent tree is against one Garrett or one rally lead, or whatever the case may be. So just a friendly tip out there for people who might be wondering how is this testing being done.
Yeah, I think okay, so people are already asking it. Oh my god, are we gonna do this? If we're gonna do that, fam, I need to make sure I get some sleep tonight. So apparently there is a mob that is in the chat saying that they want their 24-hour stream this weekend. So if I'm gonna do that, fam, that means that tomorrow, which let me make sure I can't do it weekend to weekend, because if I do that, I'm gonna be absolutely wrecked.
As a moderator for your channel, I will not be here for 24 consecutive hours. Just saying that now.
Don't worry about it. So the other one is for the 15th to the 16th. That is our 1-year anniversary. That gives us a week in between. If the missus is down, I'll do it, and we'll post it in Discord whether we're going to do it. If we do it, it will be tomorrow at 20 UTC that we'll start, because that will be 3 p.m. to 3 p.m. that we'll do it. And then I can do some KVK training and all that kind of stuff, because that's when people are going to go bananas for it. So I'll ask the missus if she wants to do it, then I'm down. And then we'll have a week break, and then we'll have our next 24-hour stream, and then I'm officially complete on my 24-hour streams. Okay, let me see. I know I saw a couple of questions. Let me see. Oh, crap. I hope that answered your question. I was trying not to dance around it, but that's why I have these beautiful men on my thing to kind of answer all these beautiful questions for everybody.
Yeah, I think I said it last week, and it's not to offend Bulba. He knows this, but asking him for commander advice is like asking a prostitute to preach a sermon.
And I bet you there are some preachers out there that used to be some badass pimps, so let's not completely trash on all of them. The Lord works in mysterious ways, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. Man, my eyes are going whack. I don't know if anybody got to find other. I think that answered most. Let me see. With the addition of hard push, it really can change early game. That's coming from Horseplay, your PTOO fam over there. Let me see. Continue the stream. Nah, these guys, I gotta make sure that if we're not good, then I let them rest, because I gotta make sure my boy Lambo gets his beauty sleep. All right. I think that's all the questions that I'm seeing right now. If not, then just post them, and then we can always answer them in Discord and stuff like that, fam. Closing thoughts. Brackets are coming out. Okay, so before we do our closing thoughts, keep in mind, fam, brackets should be coming out either at reset on Sunday, or sometime, I don't remember if they put a 24-hour timer and then release the brackets. Once those brackets are released, I will officially be, I know I brought it up while I have the cams on. I just need to plug in the teams, make the fillable aspect for it, and we will officially be into the Madness Tournament top 32. So if you are on our Discord, you have to be on our Discord. You cannot, it is literally in the rules. If you're going to participate, you have to be in the Discord, and you have to stay in the Discord. You can't submit and leave. You have to stay in the Discord, because I promise you, there are people that will come and, you know, will do that. This is for the community. So if you don't want to be a part of the community, don't even come. I promise you, because I will DQ the shit out of you so fast, and you don't even know. So come in, enjoy. You basically are going to be able to fill out the bracket, what teams, all that kind of stuff. Submit it before Saturday, the day before the first match is played. Once that happens, it is officially locked for top 32. We will choose 2 winners. I have not decided on prizes yet. I will be doing that in the next couple of days, unleashing all the channels on the Discord with all the rules, prizes, all that kind of stuff, media. And we will officially be starting that as soon as brackets are released. I will do all my stuff, get all that. We will then probably next show we'll fill ours, and we'll show all of ours, because I have a feeling all 3 of us will probably play it, and we'll size up our brackets. We'll talk about top 32 matches. It's coming down to the nitty gritty. This is where I think Lambo is probably the most excited for, because most of these teams I'm pretty confident he knows already. So this is where it's going to come in. We'll talk about coins. We're going to talk about we'll talk about bets. This is where, you know, the meat of the content's going to come from, who we're going to bet on, who we have matches to watch, all that kind of fun jazz. Okay. So fam, thank you again. Closing thoughts.
You're saying my division picks were a fluke?
You know what? You know, I would like somebody to go and clip it.
Because they were.
To go and clip it. And when I go, Lambo, who do you got for this division? He goes, bro, I don't know any of these fucking teams, so I'm going with top 32. He literally said that shit for like 12 divisions. And literally, I told everybody, I'm like, if we really wanted to win, all of us could have just said all top 32. And the odds for us taking the dub just from doing that is very, very high, because for the most part, it's almost the same teams every single league, minus some surprises here and there. But for the majority of the thing, it is always your top 32. So unless you're GSB or, you know, rip to GSB, but y'all already know, fam. Final thoughts, Hova? Anything you want to say prior to release of brackets, stuff like that?
That's it for me.
All right. Lambo?
Who picked UCS? Who picked SS54? Oh, okay.
Jab. Yeah. Somebody put the Pepe with the sword for Lambo. God dang. Oh, before I end it, Horseplay, his dono was $100. Let's keep these donations rolling for the kiddos. So we are officially at $2,007.99. We officially broke it. I'm gonna ask the wifey right now. I'm still be looking for a crown, probably error. Okay, so it looks like we'll end up doing the 24-hour stream. So it will, if we are gonna do it, it will start. I will let y'all know in Discord. I will tag everybody in it, let y'all know. 24 hours. You what? Not tonight. I'm tired. Huh? Okay, well, I gotta end the show then. It's already 9. It's 9, so we go 9 to 9. No, because I'm ending the stream. Be 9 to 9. We ain't including. All right. Well, the wifey wants to do it now, so Boo, I don't care. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. And then I'll go to sleep. Bye. No, I'm just playing. All right, fam. Thank you so much. Let me switch over real quick. Lambo Hova, I will let y'all go, my friends. Thank y'all again for a great show. And dude, next week's gonna be spicy. We'll see y'all then.
See you
Have a
guys.
good one.
Later. All right, fam. Oh man, fam, y'all are killing me. Y'all are killing me, Smalls. Everybody want y'all. Okay, we'll take a vote. How many people we got in here? 37 people. Let's get a vote real quick. Let's get a vote. Do y'all want the 24-hour stream to start now, or do y'all want it to start tomorrow? Y'all vote either. Let's do yay or nay. So yes or no. So yes if you want it to start now, no if you want it to start tomorrow. It would be tomorrow at 20 UTC. And whoever has a majority, let's do it. I'll do it for a couple of minutes, fam. I'll do it for a couple of minutes. Hamid, what's going on, buddy? Yes. Is that a yes, Sal? I don't know. You got to put yes or no in the chat, fam. I'll do it for 3 minutes and y'all vote. And whoever has the most, then we're going to do it. And start. There you go. I just started 3 minutes. So tomorrow, that's one tomorrow. Here, let me see. Let me keep track. So no, yes. So Zhao, I think, is a yes. You see, John is a no. Hikaru is a yes. Tonight, following the master orders. Oh, Juan's a yes. Oh, Lord. John already voted, so that one doesn't count. Dark is a nay. That's that. Zhao is now. Already got you. Bohemian is a no, so we're 3 and 3. More time to plan. Fam, this isn't going to be a plan. I can tell you right now. We're going to play what we play. I'm in KVK right now with 1307. We're in the training stage, so I'll probably do some KVK, Arc, Rise of Kingdoms type stuff. I may play some Call of Duty. So the games that I typically play, and I'll let y'all know, we are looking at doing some Switch content. So if you have the Nintendo Switch, let me know. We have Mario Kart. I am considering getting Super Smash Brothers if people want to play, doing community content. Okay, so that is something I'm considering doing. If we have enough people to do it, then I may do that. And then we'll go from there. So we have Switches. Call of Duty is another one that I play. I think she has Doom that y'all can watch her play. She plays Fall Guys. She plays a lot of any scary games. She'll play those. And what else does she play? She has the new Pokemon game that just came out that she's super excited for, but I don't know. I didn't plan on the stream, so I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll see. Let me see. Zal, no. Onslaught. Horseplay, nay is okay. So we have 4 for nay. Drake is no. You were straight insane if you started a 24-hour stream with no prep. The white fam, you love it. You love it, Chis. I know you love it, fam. I typically plan my 24-hour for my 1 year is always planned. I always have graphics for it and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, all of our systems already set up. So it would just be me switching some stuff over and then going from there. But we rotate. So that's the good thing about having my wife stream as well. So she'll go from 10 to 6 playing a scary game. And then I'll wake up and then do it from 6 to 2. And then we kind of rotate and do all that kind of stuff. So it makes it a lot easier. No, just listen to Chis. I'm not worried, fam. The last time we planned it, it went all out the window super quick. We ended up playing Rise of Kingdoms for like 10 hours and I was supposed to play it for like 3. So I'm not super worried about it. Yeah, we have a bunch of no's. No. I'm drunk, stoned most of the time. Maybe no. Okay, so a majority of y'all are saying no. So I think that's what we're gonna end up doing. We'll end up waiting. Yeah, she plays Phasmo. There you go. Doom. I actually kind of like waiting because I think right now it falls at a really ugly time because 24 hours at 10 o'clock is gonna suck. Like I'm not a night guy, so it would suck really bad me having to stream a bunch at the night. So that's why I'm okay with doing it at 20 UTC because it ends midday and then I can still get some sleep. So I think we're gonna push it till tomorrow at 20 UTC, fam. Or we may, you know, I'll let y'all know how we're gonna do it. But we're gonna do it, and then it'll give me a week in between our next 24-hour stream, which is gonna be, it's gonna be nutty, fam. So the way that we typically do 24-hour streams, and I will let y'all know, is there you go. I'll stop the timer. I break it into parts because in YouTube, a stream that goes over 12 hours, YouTube does not make it a VOD. They will no longer transcribe it into a VOD that can then be viewed. So typically I break our 24-hour streams up into 6 hours, but I have very low downtime. So we'll stream for 6. I'll take the stream down, bring it back up in 20 minutes. Then we start again. Then we do it, rinse and repeat for 4 times. That way y'all have VODs, and then I'll add little tags to it. That way y'all can see, oh, they played Rise of Kingdoms at this time, they played, you know, Phasmo at this time, they play whatever. That way y'all can see whatever content you'll want to see, and it's marked, and you don't have to watch 6 hours in order to see the One Piece you want to see. Okay, so that is typically how we do 24-hour streams. I will work on a graphic. It probably won't be as sexy as my other one, just to let y'all know kind of what games we're thinking about. That way y'all can kind of tune in for whatever y'all want to see. Okay, so I will be doing a little bit of Rise of Kingdoms. We aren't in the fighting aspect, but we are going to be doing training tomorrow in 1307, which is always going to be fun. You'll see it skyrocket, do all that kind of stuff. If there's new events, we'll do them, so on and so forth. And then we'll see how it goes. If we have any KVK fighting, we can always stream it, cast it, do all that kind of stuff. So make sure you mail me in Discord, let me know, and then we will go from there. But this is because of y'all, fam. I know everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I told y'all I tried to do it. It's for the kids. It was our milestone. Here, let me bring it up real quick. Bottom, it should be this one. This was the milestone that we have. This is our charity stuff. And as you see right here, hold on, I didn't select. This is our charity stuff. It's 5K by the end of May. That is what we are shooting for. We partner with St. Jude every single year. Last year, in 1 month alone, we raised over $2,600, and we are already at $2,000 for St. Jude in less than a week. Just think about $2,000 in less than a week. Our next milestone is 2,500. I do owe y'all. Maybe we'll do the fake tattoo thing. I gotta find out if we can find the stuff. Fake tattoo during the 24-hour stream. Maybe we can possibly do that. The next one, oh Jesus, $2,500. The Bulbacorn pool jump stream. I will probably do a quick, probably like 10-15 minute stream, or maybe I'll make a video of it. And I will be dressed as the Bulbacorn doing pool flips and swims and all that kind of fun jazz in the pool, because it's fun. And then the real prizes come out, fam. Mrs. Bulba type stuff. And this is what a lot of people keep asking for. And no, I did not. The only one that I put on here because I wanted it was this one at 3K. So in 1,000, once we hit 1,000 more, Mrs. Bulba will be playing Rise of Kingdoms for a stream. If it lands in KVK, it's in KVK, fam. If I get zeroed, she's going to zero me out, but she will be streaming on my account. If it's during KVK, maybe she'll be fighting. She'll be doing something. I don't know. But she's going to be playing Rise of Kingdoms for a stream. I know this is probably the most requested thing out of everything outside of me taking a pie to the face. This is probably the highest requested thing outside of that at 4. And then we jump to 4K, which then Mrs. Bulba takes a pie to the face. And then last but not least, probably the most dangerous one out of all of these, I'll probably have to buy gear for all this. We are going to play Chancla Dodgeball, and it is literally what it sounds like. I'm going to buy 50 pairs of chanclas. We are going to have them, and we're going to have essentially a battle royale with chanclas, and we're going to stream it. It's going to be fun. So It's gonna be fun. So have fun with it. You know, I'm doing this to raise money because I love St. Jude and what they symbolize. And I know my mom would be proud of what y'all are doing with the community and what we're doing. And that is what drives me to make content, is the effect that our community can have on other people's lives. Because I've said it once and I'll say it again. I've raised more money for charity than I've made in a year on YouTube, by far. I probably made twice the amount of money, probably more than that, twice the amount of money for charity than I have even on mine. And that's not including all the events and contests and all that stuff. I'm not making money from YouTube right now. I'm reinvesting it into our community, into charity, into aspects of it, because good vibes always come back, fam. So thank you all again. I truly, truly do appreciate it. And that's because the wife and I haven't even put our donos yet. So y'all are still crushing it. And can't thank you enough, fam. I really, really, really cannot thank you enough. So let me catch up in chat real quick. We'll be here. I'll start tomorrow early. Doom, Phasmo, maybe Pokemon Snap. Yeah, she got Pokemon Snap. I need a little prep, because the Pokemon Snap, apparently what she's telling me is you can use the Switch to like look at stuff, but I don't know how that's gonna stream. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. I don't know how it's gonna stream. So I need to test that out and see if we can pull that. But we have Mario Kart, so if we have people, send me on our Discord, fam. Go to the role section. There is a Switch icon. Select it if you have a Switch and you want to play with us. We have a friends code thing there. Send us a friend request, all that kind of stuff. I'm looking at doing community content on the Switch. Mario Kart tournaments. I'm looking at doing potentially Super Smash Brothers knockout type tournaments, and having, you know, some small prize. Like I don't make a tremendous amount of money from YouTube, but I do like having, I know we're all competitive, so I like feeding into that. So maybe having like a small gift prize and maybe some Discord boosts, or, you know, we'll think of some stuff, but we're going to have fun with it, fam. Okay. So make sure you go and do that if you want to play with us. I'll definitely be playing. Maybe we'll play some Mario Kart tomorrow. We've been talking about it for a while. Let me see. Sorry for the random question. Why does every creator not like to cover Sobek? Being perfectly honest with you, it has nothing to do against the teams, okay? As a content creator, though, and this is me speaking perfectly honest, I'm not going to fluff anything. When you cast stuff, or if you're a smaller creator, and I can't speak for the large creators and stuff like, because I'm not a big boy. As a small creator, though, you do it for one of two reasons, okay? You cast either because there's a big name that people want to watch, okay? So you're trying to increase viewership in order with the hope that you can then convert people to subs. And if you're casting over Nuns Alliance versus I don't know, pigs, and nobody knows them, and you aren't a good marketer, and you don't like touch base with the alliances and do stuff like that, your viewership is going to be very, very low compared to if you see that match right next to me casting PTOL versus Snow. That is going to get far more viewers, which then may convert to subs as a small viewer. So that is one aspect of it. Okay. The other aspect is there aren't very many known teams. So you're kind of hitching your boat onto something that may not even float, if that makes sense. There's a lot of unknowns with Sobek. With Bastet, you have a lot more coverage that existed prior to the Osiris League, whether it was with T2A, K916. I did coverage for T2AR. I did coverage for K916. I did coverage for WIB. I did coverage for Lost. I did coverage for a lot of teams that are in Bastet. That is why I'm excited for Bastet over Anubis. And it's not because I don't have anything against Anubis. I just know more teams. So I feel more knowledgeable about casting over an ARC match. Okay. And that is probably the other aspect that people have to understand, when you don't know the teams, it makes it very hard to cast, because it's like when people go through patch notes and all they do is read the patch notes. What that tells me is that they didn't either go and look through it, or they're just trying to read everything through. I don't want the cast for it to sound plain and organic, like, oh, okay, these 5 marches are going through the back, and these 5 marches are going. I like to cast stuff that I've seen plays for, games, casts, matches, where you bring up tendencies. And that's why I cast, when people come to my cast, they like it, because I'm talking about shit that you're not seeing on the map. I'm talking about Smash Squad and what their tendencies are in the middle, because I've watched 30 of their matches, or tendencies on the outside, or what PTOL's breakoff strat is, because I've watched them do it 20 times, or UCS or SFS. Or you got to have that knowledge of the game and of the teams in order for it to be more than just you articulating what's going on the screen, if that makes sense. I know that was a little bit of a longer answer, but that, from me, is my rationale behind why I'm not covering Sobek. It's because, one, I know nothing about any of the teams whatsoever. I haven't casted a single one of any of those teams. 2, the viewership I don't think is there. And in 3, I'm hitching. I don't like to spread myself thin. I want to commit myself to one realm at most. We're going to cast some other matches outside of it, but I don't think most of those are going to be competitive until top 16. So that is why I'm not doing it. I can't speak for other people, but I can tell you that a lot of content creators have come out and said that based on the changes to Osiris League, a lot of them don't see the value of doing that versus doing a VOD video of a new event coming out. The return isn't there for some of the big boys. And that is and I can understand that. At the end of the day, you got to be very, very particular. Your time is precious. You got to be very selective on certain content that you can do, or commitments, or whatever it is. So it comes into a numbers game at some point. It's a business. It's a business. Let me see what other questions we got, fam. If you got questions for me, ask. I'll end after we answer the last questions. I'll start tomorrow early. Doom. Okay, so we'll release a time. I'll work on the little graphic. Oh, Alloys. Did we not? Oh, I know why. I know why, Alloys. I'm on the wrong screen. Sorry. Alloys. Sorry, I don't believe I have the alert on here. That's why. Here, give me 1 second, fam. Thank you. The Mrs. Bulba just came in. Give me 1 second, fam. Let me see. Browser. Let's add it to this. I don't know why it's not on this. I haven't been using full screen. That's why. Alert. Let's add you. There you go. It's because we didn't have it in OBS. Alloys donated $50. Yup. Thank you. I appreciate it. More than y'all will ever know. For these kids, for those of y'all who don't know what St. Jude is, I'll make it very, very simple. St. Jude is an organization that they're almost like superheroes. And I don't understate that. What their entire cause is around is they are raising funds, okay? Whether it's through streamers, whether it's through businesses, whether it's through private donations or corporations, it doesn't matter. They raise funds, and with those funds, they fund their research for cancer treatments, for cancer cures, with the idea that if they do find a cure for anything that they're researching, they make it publicly available for the entire world. Because at the end of the day, that is all they're trying to do, is they fund that. They publicly share stuff out with the idea of healing and helping as many people as possible. On top of that, they bring in children that have chronic diseases, that, cancers and stuff like that are, critical. They're very, very, and they allow them and their families to stay free of charge. Those families and those children never see a bill, period. End of story. The only thing that they are focused on is the kids, or are the kids, and giving them the best life that they can possibly have. There are things like this, like Play Live, that we're doing right here, that go to the children, but also go to certain things that help the children out. So before the whole pandemic thing, they had mobile gaming stations, like rigs, like y'all know, like carts, where they had screens and Xboxes and PlayStations, and they would roll them in for kids that could not walk and get around and do, and they would roll them in and allow them to play Xbox or PlayStation or whatever it is with their family, their friends, whatever. Streamers get invites to go play with the kids and hang out and experience what it is to be a part of St. Jude. And that is one of my goals, is to be graced with the privilege of being able to do that with my wife, because it would definitely be sad, and I would tell you that, but it would also be one of those experiences that you just will not forget. And so that ultimately is what we're working towards. Whether it happens or not, I don't care. This is all for the kids, and we're raising it all for the kids. So I do appreciate the dono, Alois. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Baz is the greatest mod ever. Mrs. Bulba, so bad is still young. So proud of Bulbaritos and the amazing Burrito Gang community. Whether you dono or share the link, you are truly making a difference in these kids' lives, and we love you for it. Truly. We understand that not everybody can afford to do it, and I will never blame anybody for not being able to do it. But if you can, we would love you for it even more. Let me see. I am a commander. Come at me, rock. Oh, God. New commander coming soon, Mrs. Bulba. Oh, gosh, she would light the world on fire. The last time I put Mrs. Bulba, I created her an account in 1307, and it randomly, when she started the account, it ported her right next to Mad Phantom, and she told me she wanted to swarm Mad. She didn't know who Mad was. And she's like, I'm going to swarm him. And I'm like, we're about to get zeroed. Like, I already knew it. This thing was going downhill real quick. Should cast some Korean Osiris League for a change in your 24-hour streams. It's every Saturday, like 6 UTC onward or something. KC, I promise you, I have tried, my friend. I have tried. The second I knew, I have asked. And you can ask the devs. I've asked community managers. I've asked everybody. The problem arises that they have a different build of the game than other players do. So for those of y'all who don't know, certain you know, because they have to do certain limitations and certain things because of government or whatever it is, they have to have their own separate build of the game. It still integrates with the game, but there's subtle changes into it. And I think one of those subtle changes doesn't allow me to be able to get into it. Now, the question I don't know is if I'm in the alliance, if I can cast it. That would be interesting because I don't know the answer to that. If it is, then I may consider it. That is one thing I don't know. And I can ask Chuni or ask Zhang if that is a thing. I don't know, though. Actually, I could ask Hova. Hova's in JST, so I could ask Hova. I don't know if that's a thing, though. I saw you raise 2K for St. Jude's. No brainer to add a little bit more. Hey, I appreciate it, my friend. 2098. I still have 3.5 hours, but trying to get people in place and such. Hey. 100% of donations go straight to the kids. Exactly. Mrs. out here dropping that knowledge. Zal, you migrated. Real talk. We hit hard St. Jude's donos, and I'm gonna swarm Mad. Oh God. Why? You're gonna zero my account. It's gonna cost thousands of dollars. It's gonna cost us money. It's gonna cost us money. All right, fam. I think we're going to call it a stream. I got to work on graphics and all this kind of stuff because apparently we're doing a 24-hour stream tomorrow. So we're going to go hang out in Discord. Come hang out with us. Maybe I'll hop in voice chat and we can chat and listen to some music or do whatever, fam. But I'm going to call it a stream. That way I can do some graphic work and all that kind of stuff. Keep an eye out. There's no art cast this weekend, but apparently we got a 24-hour stream. So if there's stuff you want to see or you think we should check out or play with the community that we've already been playing, let me know, and then we'll go from there. 5K and Mrs. Bulba swarms mad, and he lets it happen. Well, he's also like 300 mil power. Oh man. If I have troops left after KVK. So, all right, we'll think about it. We'll think about it. Voice, yeah, we'll go hang out in Voice for a little while. We can listen to some music and do stuff like that, fam. All right, fam. I'm gonna hop off. Thank you again, Lambo Hova. I hope y'all enjoyed the cast, enjoyed the show. Remember, it's all love, fam. It's just for entertainment and to give y'all something to talk about. Next week's show is gonna be fire, and I'm telling you, we're gonna talk about bets. We're gonna talk about let me flip the screen. Here you go. We're gonna talk about bets. We're gonna talk about winners, losers. We're gonna show our bracket submissions. Maybe I'll wait for the guys and we can all do them live on the show. And we'll do our bracket submissions. There's a lot of content that will be coming on the Bulbattalion next episode, so do not miss it. I promise you, you do not want to miss it. So make sure, if you haven't already, sub to the channel. Dang, I need to fix that. It's gonna make me mad. Give me a second. Let me redo this. Let's redo this, fam. There we go. If you haven't already, sub to the channel. Do me a favor, if you don't want to miss a live stream, hit that bell icon, select all so that you get notified every single time we go live. And y'all know the deal, fam. Make sure you lick, kick, headbutt, knee, elbow, people's elbow drop, head, you know, give it the hole. I don't care. That like button, it lets us know what content y'all want us on. And at the end of the day, fam, we're here for y'all. We love our community, and we're growing, fam. We're growing. So hop on Discord if you want to hang out. We'll listen to some music, some Steve Aoki. We'll hang out, have a good time, and don't forget, 24-hour stream tomorrow. I will pop in the announcements when it will start, and hopefully a graphic that will let y'all know kind of what we're going to be doing, who's going to be streaming at what time, so on and so forth. Okay? All right, fam. Here we go. Let's do some voice. All right, let's do it. All right, baby. Thank you, my love, Mrs. Bulba. And thank you, fam, for everyone coming and hanging out. Tomorrow's going to be fun. So come in with your big boy pants. Bring your drinks. Bring your pants. Or don't bring your pants. Whatever floats your boat. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I am Anthony with the Bulba. I am one of the proud leaders of the Bulbaritos. And I will see you all on the next live stream. Bulba out.